Hi friends, this is Carmen. Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My channel is all about balcony gardening with succulents and cacti and houseplants in an apartment setting. If that interests you, please make sure that you hit that subscription button down below so you don't miss any of my videos. Today I'm going to talk to you about water propagation of houseplants. Water propagation I found is the easiest way for me to get free plants, to multiply my collection, and also be able to give away some of my plants to family members and friends. And there's certain steps that I take to make sure that I have success in that propagation. So I'm going to share some of those secrets with you today. Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, so this is my propagation station here. I live in an apartment, so space and lighting is always an issue for me. Right now, my east-facing windows are full of plants, so I did not have any space to put my propagation station in. I did have this countertop in this empty area here that I could put some shelving, and I am using a Sansi 25-watt bulb as their lighting source. I have it off right now because yeah, it's bright. So, but I have this on about, 6 or 7 hours a day. Now, if you have natural lighting in your home, that's the best route. But for me, this is where I needed to place my propagation station. Okay. Now, the second important thing is for water propagation is water. Here in my area, the water is very hard, so I use filtered or distilled water for all of my vessels, okay? I don't use any tap water for them because I want to give those cuttings the very best water I possibly can to make sure that they grow healthy roots. I change the water once a week because by then you can kind of tell that it's starting to get a little murky, a little green, something like that. So I do change it once a week to give them fresh water. I don't want them sitting in milky, ugly water. But since I live in a pretty dry climate, during that week, the water does tend to evaporate. So I have this little jug here filled with filtered water that I will fill up to the necessary point, that little container, if it needs more water, until the day that I have to change the water at the end of the week. Okay? Different plants progress at different rates. If you've ever done a water propagation on a pothos, any pothos really, or philodendron, you know that the roots grow very, very fast. And within a week, probably 10 days, it's got enough roots that you can transfer it to a soil or a sphagnum moss substrate. But there are some plants, like this Hoya linearis here, that take forever just to get little roots. Now this one here, little lesson I learned on this one, was a cutting that was sent to me, didn't have any roots. I did the water propagation and it had about that amount of roots on it the first time. I went ahead and put it in soil, and I kept the soil moist, so it helped that cutting acclimate to the soil from being in water all the time to being dry soil. I kept the soil moist to get it acclimated. But it didn't survive. The roots or the base of the plant started to get real woody and die off. So I took it out, cut those off, and started over again. And that's the wonderful thing about plants. They can be so forgiving, and you can start over with them. So I started over on that particular cutting, and this time I'm going to wait till it has more roots because I don't think that it had enough roots. This particular plant takes a long time to root. These string of bananas, just about ready to replant. Lots of roots there. But I've had this in here for 6 weeks, okay? So these have taken a long time, and that's kind of what I'm trying to tell you is you need to be patient with them. Some plants will root much quicker than others, but just be patient with them. If the cutting itself is not looking dead or turning yellow or dying off, let it be, give it some time, continue with your water changing and filling up to where it needs to be to make sure that node is covered where the roots are going to come out, and it will root in time. It's just some plants are different, just like people, you know, they evolve in different ways, okay? But say for instance, this cutting of a ruby necklace, I had cuttings already in here that I potted up in the ruby necklace pot, and these kind of broke off, so I thought I'd repot these. These have only been in here a few days, and look at that. So these propagate a lot quicker. They grow a lot quicker in roots. So there you go. This is a Kalanchoe pink butterfly that I'm trying to fill up the pot. I had this in here for about a week. Nothing. No sign of any roots at all, but the plant is healthy. The cutting is healthy. It's not dying off. You'll notice too that I don't have the water level all the way up. That's another thing that I've learned. The water levels for certain cuttings is different. You want enough water to cover the nodes that where the roots will come out of, but you don't want it too far up that it could put a potential kill the cutting, because too much water too far up on the cutting could make it rot. And I've seen that's happened to me and another YouTuber that I spoke with when Sansevieria leaf cuttings. I learned that if I were to propagate a Sansevieria leaf cutting, I would only put enough water, like about an inch of water, into that vessel to cover just the bottom portion of the leaf where those roots are going to come out of. If I put it any higher, that leaf tended to rot on me. So you don't have to fill the vessel entirely. Just cover it enough to cover the node and give it some time to grow. Sansevieria leaves just that bottom portion. I think probably with any leaf that you're going to be propagating and without any type of stem that has a node on it, give it just enough water to cover that bottom portion where you expect the roots to come out of, okay? So that's another lesson. Not too much water, just enough. So we talked about the water and the lighting and everything. Now, I'm going to be repotting these later this week because these string of bananas are ready to be going into soil. When I do propagate them into soil, here's one that I just sent into soil. This is a cutting from my Monstera adansonii that broke off. I water propagated it, got enough roots, and put it in some soil. This is the new Fox Farm Ocean Forest soil that I'm trying out. And I'm keeping the soil evenly moist to get it acclimated. And I'm keeping it here still under this light until I see that it's ready to be repotted somewhere else and go out amongst the other plants. During this time that she's been here in this pot, this leaf unfurled here. So I know she's doing well so far, but keeping her down here in this little area is a good idea. Same with this cutting here, this philodendron horse's head by Pinopodium. I'll put the name out here, but I know it is a philodendron horsehead. I water propagated it, had enough roots on it, put it in soil, and I put it out here. It started to, you know, droop and get not so pretty, so I brought it back over here under the light to keep a closer eye on it and really keep a close eye the soil too, as far as the moisture in it, and it seems to be doing well. So for me, at least, having 2 stages in my propagation is the best thing. Water propagation first when they're ready to be potted up in the soil. I'll keep them here still, and then when I see that they're doing well, then I'll put them out in amongst the other plants, or pot them in with another plant to fill the pot up or something like that. So that's basically how I do it. Now, I do know that some plant parents have a step in between the water and the soil. Some plant parents will go from water propagation, and when the roots are ready, go into sphagnum moss and then go into soil. It's up to you. I haven't tried it that way. I have propagated things straight from sphagnum moss and then into soil. My philodendron royal queen did beautifully in that propagation, and it's doing wonderful now. But I don't do that 3-step method. It's up to you. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but you can try both ways too, okay? So there you have it, friends. Those are the ones that I am propagating at the moment. Not a whole lot right now because it's just, you know, so hot outside, and I think that my plants here do a little bit better in the spring, late winter as far as propagation. But I've got a few things going that I think will do well. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I do have another video that I'll put right up here that is for how I put my propagation station together, where I sourced all of my things, my baskets, my vessels, and all of that stuff. So you can watch that next if you want to. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching today and being here and liking this video. I appreciate that. I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, have a blessed day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.